Hey there, Knicks fans. Basketball's in full swing, and FANATICS Sportsbook has new ways for you to get more out of the action as we head into the new year. Every bet earns you up to 10% fan cash, win or lose. So even if your bet doesn't go your way, you're still building fan cash you could use across the FANATICS universe on apparel, fan gear, and more. If you haven't made the switch yet, now's the time. FANATICS Sportsbook. Winning? It's different here. All right. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show, the final Knicks Film School Postgame Show of 2025, presented by our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook. Unfortunately, we do not end the year on a high note as Julian Champagny pees in everybody's champagne about 2 hours here before midnight. Final score, San Antonio 134, Knicks 132. Really wanted this one, although I'm not gonna lie, I was watching it. As it became clear at the end the Knicks were not gonna win. I'm like, well, better they lose this one and have won the NBA Cup than lose the NBA Cup and win this one. And yet, as I'm saying that out loud, I'm like, well, only one of those two games that would actually counts in the standings. So I don't know how accurate that is, but frustrating for a couple of reasons. Primarily, you're up by 11 points with whatever it was, 7 or so minutes left in the fourth quarter. All the momentum on your side, and then San Antonio's best player and a guy who tonight looked like the most impactful player in the sport. Victor Wembanyama is in the locker room. You're in that situation. You're a Knicks team that has, designs on winning an NBA championship. You really don't want to lose that game. We've learned here at Knicks Film School over the years, never make too big a deal out of the losses, never make too big a deal out of the regular season wins. But at the same time, if I'm going to sit here after every one of these wins, over teams like the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Pelicans and the, Indiana Pacers, and I'm going to say that we're learning things about this team long term, and we're making deposits in the bank, and it all counts, and it's all good, important stuff. Well, I can't very well sit here and then just brush off a loss when, again, you're up by double figures against a team that had just lost a guy who, again, is not only their best player, but Wemby, his impact he scored 21 points, I think, in the first half of the game. But his impact defensively in the third quarter, I thought, was unlike anything I've ever seen before. Jalen Brunson, who is, I don't know what Jalen Brunson is in terms of field goals per game in the NBA. I'm sure it's somewhere 5, 6, 7. It's high. He takes a lot of shots. I've never seen Jalen Brunson afraid to shoot the ball before, and he was afraid to shoot the ball in the third quarter. So that guy was out. He was in the locker room. And, you can't find a way to win the game because of the elephant in the room with this team. And it's the thing that I'm pretty sure during every one of their now 10 losses this season, I would wager that, with the exception of one or two, probably the two most recent ones where I think you could write off those losses. But even in those, you could make this claim that, like, when push comes to shove against really good teams that have real weapons, this team does not always have that extra defensive gear. And, is that the only reason they lost? No, I don't think that's the only reason they lost. I think they missed Mitchell Robinson tonight. It's not often you see the Knicks get out-rebounded by 8, which they did tonight. Spurs had one more offensive rebound than the Knicks. They were really, it felt like they dominated the glass more than just by 8, to say nothing of, the impact that Mitch could have made defensively. But specifically, I think on the glass, you absolutely missed Mitchell Robinson. And you felt that down the stretch, and I think you felt it throughout the game. So, yeah, no Mitch. Okay. And that would have helped you defensively. Okay. But 134 points, and I don't want to hear that Julian Champagny had the game of his life. I mean, he did. And shout out to Staten Island, my hometown. I wish there was, some part of me that felt an ounce of pride that a Staten Islander did this tonight. I could give a shit less. And I'm just frustrated and, wish that it was a better new year and that he didn't do what he just did. I think for me, the most emblematic portion of the game, and they called it out on the broadcast, was the 3 straight De'Aaron Fox pick and rolls in the fourth quarter that all had the same result. All the first 2 were baskets. The last one was a foul. And you ask yourself, like, okay, if a team does have another gear defensively, how could they let an opposing team missing its best player just run the same play over and over again? And then to say nothing of the fact that Champagny, once is an accident, twice is a trend, 11 times is, I don't know what the fuck 11 times is. It's a lot of times, too many times. So these are real problems. And, I think you can look at personnel, certainly, to some extent. But like the thing with those possessions that I find very interesting is like Jalen Brunson wasn't even involved in those pick and rolls. Unless I'm forgetting that he was involved maybe in one. I don't think he was involved in any of them because they were off hiding him on Champagny and they weren't even getting, or I forget who they were hiding him. They're hiding on somebody. And that was Jordan Clarkson, it was Mikal Bridges, and it was Karl Anthony Towns. Now, you could talk about it as a personnel issue. I know I got at least one text asking why Deuce was not in the game, why Clarkson was in the game. I think it's a fair question. Clarkson was also unconscious in this game offensively. Well, actually unconscious. That's too strong. He shot under 50% from the field. I take that back. He was not unconscious. He was very good offensively in this game, despite an 8 for 17 stat line, made 4 of 6 threes. I thought he was an important force offensively, but McBride was much better offensively. The dude went 4 of 9 from deep. He went 7 of 12 overall. So you can't really tell me that it was that. Maybe McBride was on a minutes limit. I mean, he played 21 minutes. I don't know what his minutes limit is. You want to tell me that if Josh Hart is in this game, you want to tell me that if McBride isn't on a minutes limit, you want to tell me that if Mitch played in the game, you want to tell me if it's, a month or 2 down the line and Mike Brown has even more trust in Kevin McCullough, which to be honest with you, that was the guy that I was wondering. Andrew's telling me Deuce played 26 minutes. Sorry, I was looking at his point total. He had 21 points in 26 minutes. Pretty good. But who knows? Maybe 20 or 25, 26, something like that was his minutes limit. You could tell me all those things, but the fact remains that, this team, they obviously have another gear that they could get to offensively, and credit to Wembanyama for momentarily shutting down that gear, I thought, in the third quarter, when New York scored only 29 points. But they put up 132 points tonight. Offense is not the problem. Offense at this rate, I don't think is ever going to be the problem. You have to be able to get stops. And I guess the thing that I rely on, or it helps me fall asleep a little bit easier, is kind of the thing that I've been echoing even in wins, which is that I do think these guys know when the calendar turns to April and May and hopefully June, they know how to flip that gear or flip that switch. They know how to access that extra gear. And it is then that we will see the absolute apex version of this team defensively. It is then that we will see Mike Brown probably be a little bit more selective with who he puts out there. But, I don't know if I see a world where Jordan Clarkson isn't going to be an important part of the team moving forward. Now, maybe if McCullough and Diawara, and who knows if they make a trade, whatever. Who knows what might happen to make, Clarkson a little bit more like Benji in our text thread earlier today, used the term more of a luxury. I don't know if I see that. I like Brown clearly trusts Clarkson so much. So, Clarkson, Brunson, Cat, Kolek has defended his ass off, and I thought he defended it well at times tonight, although you could argue that the single worst defensive player of the entire game you could attribute it to Tyler Kolek, and Mike Brown sure the hell let him know it, and he did not see the floor after that. Teaching moment. He'll learn from it. I'm not worried about that. And even Deuce. It's like, we love Deuce. Deuce tries his ass off defensively. Deuce is 6'2" or 6'3", whatever he is. So, it's a small team, and I think you felt that size a little bit tonight. But like, again, am I really going to sit here? The reason I'm focusing on the defense is because when you score 132 points and you lose, like, what else are you going to focus on? Were there some guys that did not, that if they had normal offensive games, the Knicks win this? Yeah. OG Anunoby went 3 for 10. Karl Anthony Towns took 10 shots. He scored 20 points on those 10 shots. But I don't know that I did not feel, and I went back, I said this the other night, and I went back on the statement in the newsletter the next day. I won't be going back on this. This was not a great Karl Anthony Towns game. Again, credit to Benji. He was pointing out in the moment, spaced out on a few too many possessions, and just offensively, it didn't feel like you really didn't feel like you felt him. And not a great Brunson game. 29 points. Shout out to that. I bet 28.5. Shout out to our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook. So he got it by half a point. That last bucket at the end, mattering for my purposes, selfishly. But this wasn't a great Brunson game, and I would say, other than Deuce McBride, I don't think any Knick had a great offensive game. And so, again, if you're looking for silver linings, it's a really good defensive team. Even with Wemby playing only 24 minutes, it's still a really good defensive team. And the Knicks put up 132, and, none of their starters had great offensive games. Bridges was efficient. He was, 13 points on 9 shots. But again, we're talking about 13 points. So, but offense isn't the problem. Offense isn't going to be the problem. And it's just about getting to a level defensively where you can make good teams be on their heels and feel like they are not dictating the terms. I do think we have seen the Knicks defensively reach that level this season. I really do. And for me, it is often when they are the aggressors and it feels like they are on the attack, so to speak, defensively. And it usually involves OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. But don't sleep on Josh Hart missing this game. Like, Hart has defended well this year. Like, you better believe he would have made an impact on this game in a big way, if for no other reason than on the boards. Bad job by me. I talked about Mitchell Robinson on the glass for like a minute earlier, and I didn't mention Josh Hart not being here, his impact on the glass, what that would have been. But, you're also going to get people who say, well, Josh Hart not being there opens up the minutes for more 5 out. And like you could say, the 132 points, that's a result of that. So with Hart, you're always going to get into that little dicey in between area. But the Knicks miss Josh Hart, and I think we all know that. So yeah, again, it's not the end of the world. It's a frustrating loss. Team ends 2025, 23-10, 24-10, if you want to count the cup win, which we should. They do fall back to 500 on the road, which, what are you going to do? Would have been nice to get this one. It would have been nice to get this one. You were in a position to win, and you should have won it. And, there's some very clear like, you never mind if you play really well and you lose. If you play pretty well and you make some mistakes and some shots don't go down, you don't even really mind that, even if you're a good team like the Knicks. When you play well enough to win for the majority of the game and you have the big lead in the fourth quarter and you play worse than mediocre, and in particular on defense, and you just really can't muster it up on defense, on the boards. You know, and so and yes, 132 points. I get it. Some of the offensive possessions down the stretch, you know, especially with Wemby out of the game, I didn't think were great. Like the cat, you know, air ball mid-range shot. Like there is one, like I wrote about this a little bit today. I wrote about it specifically in the context of OG Anunoby. I could have said the same thing about Cat. Like there are guys on this team that take mid-range shots that just should not be taking mid-range shots. So because the numbers are very clear that it makes more sense for them to take other shots that are more efficient. So yeah, that's really it. I don't really have much else to say about this one. Shout out to Deuce McBride. He was freaking awesome in this game. This would have been, I would have led with Deuce if they had figured out a way to win this game. Massive baskets. Just so great to have him out there. My big takeaway as I was watching the game was like, yeah, you know what? I just don't think I'm trading Deuce McBride before the deadline. And there's a lot of people out there who would respond to that statement with no shit, Sherlock, which I respect all of you. There's still a part of me that wants to see Deuce be the fifth starter. I just don't think that there's any world where the value is going to be enough. He's just so important to this team, not only what they do on the court, but just to the fabric of the team. And so I really don't want him going anywhere. Yeah, that's really it. Victor Wembanyama, man, that dude is he's going to be the best player in the game for a very long time if he stays healthy. But you know, saw it tonight. Is he going to stay healthy? I don't know. Oh, sorry. One more shout out. Let's end on this note before I finish the monologue. Kevin McCullough Jr. I did mention him before. I said he was the guy I wanted in the game. I should have expanded upon it then. I'll expand upon it now. He only played 8 minutes. And that's not enough for me. I've already seen enough. I want more Kevin McCullough Jr. Dude, all he does when he's out there, I mean, the hell ball at the end, you saw that. Couple other plays. Like all the dude does is make winning plays. So he's awesome. And on not that note, on a note somewhere, I'm going to call Andrew Claudio up to the stage because I got to hop over to do a little ditty for SNY Honda Sports Night and try to put some kind of maybe a positive spin on this loss. I don't know. Andrew Claudio, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, John Macri. Do your little ditty.
I will be back shortly.
Okay. Well, thank you, John, and enjoy, as we said, your time over at SNY.
I'll see you in a few.
We'll see you in a bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our continued coverage of the Knicks loss to the San Antonio Spurs. I will get into the Super Chats in a minute, and I will get my thoughts out there. But more importantly, I'm going to go over some betting and sweating picks for this matchup between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs, because we were this close, folks, to putting a positive spin on a loss, but OG Anunoby didn't cooperate. So here were our best bet picks for tonight. That's the parlay odds on your screen. Mensa had Victor Wembanyama over 24.5 points. Wemby had this midway through the third quarter. Victor Wembanyama finished with 31 points in 21 minutes played. I echo John's sentiment about he's going to be the best player in the sport if he's healthy. There's a hint of a Bill Walton career that could be coming his way if he doesn't stay healthy, where it's just when you were healthy, you were like the best thing we ever saw, and then you just weren't healthy. So we'll see what happens with Wemby. But he was... Yeah, that continues to be a thing every time I see it. Jurassic World, if you know, you know. Mr. Jeff J, he had Deuce McBride at 9+ points. Deuce McBride hit this alone in the third quarter where he hit 3 threes. I was on the 5 picks tonight on the app, or on the betting and sweating full 5 picks. My home run bet was Deuce to hit 4 threes, so I hit my home run bet. We're also... Every now and then we have a solidarity bet that Knicks Film School, our betting and sweating group chat, all takes. And we're all on the Miami Hurricanes to cover 9.5 or 10.5 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I believe Yeah, the Hurricanes are up 10 midway. So I basically have oh no, never mind. It just became plus up 3. So I basically have plus 13 on the Buckeyes for the rest of the game. I hope that covers. And I say we almost hit because Jeff hit, Mensa hit, and if OG Anunoby had one more rebound, Mr. Macri would have hit. He went with over 5.5 rebounds. OG Anunoby had 11 and 10 rebounds in each of his last 2 games, and he finishes today with 5. So one more rebound, we would have hit our parlay. Shout out to the fine folks at Fanatics Sportsbook, who will, of course, still be with us in 2026, but we are very appreciative of their partnership in 2025 and look forward to more from them throughout what will hopefully be a fun Knicks playoff run. I got to address some business real quick, if that's okay with all of you. We had a super chat that we missed in the last postgame show. This is from Oscar Lung. This was his second Leung, potentially, is how his last name is pronounced. Oscar had a second super chat, and he said, by the way, I should be in MSG for back-to-back games, Boston and Toronto in April. My U.S. visa recently got approved. Thought the price would be too high for me for a playoff game. Oscar, Happy New Year to you. We apologize we missed your super chat last game, and we hope you enjoy your trip to the Big Apple for both of those Knicks games. Yes, playoff tickets will cost you an arm and a leg, but I'm sure there will be a Knicks Film School watch party that you can attend at some point during your time in New York if you're here for a playoff game, or if you're here for one of those games. That's right around when we like to do Friends and Family Day, some type of watch party, some type of get-together. I also know Easter coincides with the last weekend of the season, so we may have some family responsibilities, but Oscar, we apologize again that we missed your super chat, but we wish you the best in everything in 2026. Okay, it's gonna be my turn to go through some super chats, and I'm gonna do my best to get through as many as possible, while making sure that you are all able to still hear from John when he gets back. Look, my only thing to add on to John in the analysis part of this game, when you lose a game by 2 points, you look for your 2-point margin. Is that one more Justin Champagnie 3 going down? If he goes 10 of 16, you win. But he went 11 of 16. Is it the De'Aaron Fox run that John was talking about, where he ran the same play 3 in a row? If you have a better point of attack defender out there, is it better? Is it OG Anunoby hitting one of his 5 attempts from 3? He went 0 of 5 from 3 tonight. Like, these are the things you could point to in a game that was really a toss-up. Is it Deuce McBride not having his foot on the line? That game would have been tied down the stretch, and the game's probably played a little differently. Is it an offensive rebound that Jordan Clarkson didn't get that led to 2 Keldon Johnson free throws? It's how you can look at a microcosm of this game and just go to, what's the 2-point margin you want to go to? There is an overarching thing about this defense that I think Knicks fans and the Knicks are going to have to worry about and fix throughout the year. But tonight was a good test on the road. You would have loved to have won the game, but you didn't. And now you're 1-1 against the Spurs, even though the NBA schedule only counts as 0-1. Okay, let's get to some super chats, shall we? Let's start during the game with John Leary. Excuse me. With John Leary, need to trade for perimeter defense, big weakness. So here's the problem. Everybody needs to trade for perimeter defense. Everybody's looking for a point of attack defender. Everybody's looking for a 2-way wing that can shoot and play defense. They're the most valuable thing in the sport that isn't like a superstar. They're very complimentary. The Knicks set out when they began revamping the roster in 2023-24, 2 years ago yesterday. They set out to start surrounding Jalen Brunson with 2-way wings. That's why OG Anunoby's here. That's why Mikal Bridges got here. We brought up yesterday on our pod the Quentin Grimes idea of Deuce plus Yabusele for Quentin Grimes. I think Philly being good, unfortunately, makes that a non-starter. Also, the Knicks, I don't know how many 1-year deals they've traded for or traded a significant asset for. I know Anunoby was on an expiring contract, but that was the CAA of it all made me think that was going to be a match made in heaven, that OG Anunoby wasn't going anywhere, especially knowing what the Knicks traded for him. I would just remind you that Mitch wasn't there. Josh Hart wasn't there. And look, who knows? Diawara in 6 minutes tonight looked good in the first half and barely played the second. And who knows what this is with Kevin McCullough Jr. So they suddenly have some wing depth. I think everybody is looking for wing perimeter defense at the moment. And maybe it's in the form of a guard. I don't know who you're going to get that's in the form of a guard that can potentially be that much of a difference maker and won't cost you too much. Maybe it's just Deuce McBride getting more healthy so he can play 30 minutes instead of 26. But thank you, John, for starting us off. It's definitely the thing everybody is thinking about tonight. Next up, from Ron Tequila. Love that name. John and I may be toasting a little later to 2026. To 2025, heading into 2026. This L 100% on Brown not putting Deuced earlier on Champagny. Towns too stupid on drop D and no Mitch to stop that dumb curl play SAS spammed. Happy New Year, KFS. Man, this would have been a good Jonathan Macri question to get a reaction to someone questioning Mike Brown after the love fest the past couple of days and weeks and potentially months, while also the dancing on said funeral and grave of one Mr. Tom Thibodeau. Look, I also wanted Deuce in the game midway through the third to guard Champagny. I also thought Mike Brown was very much telling everybody on the court, stop sagging off of Champagny in transition. He technically did, after the 11th three, decide let's guard him by putting Deuce on the floor. I have no idea if Deuce is on a minutes limit or not, which is my only thought is that Deuce McBride could potentially have been a cap of 20 minutes. He came in with 1 minute gone by in the third quarter, and I don't think that was part of the game plan. Something happened with Mohamed Diawara. My guess is that they just saw what the impact Wemby was going to have that quarter, and he decided to go with a better offensive lineup that spaced the floor a little more because the rim was just not an option. But as a result, Deuce played a lot in the third, and it might have cut into his minutes allotment for tonight. So yeah, I think in a different game, you're absolutely getting Deuce McBride in earlier. He's playing 30 plus minutes. There's a curiosity I have for how soon before Deuce is starting. But yeah, we've addressed everything else that you mentioned, Ron Tequila. The play they were doing with no Mitch, where they were spamming it to get to the rim every time. It's just a thing teams are going to do. I also don't think Mikal Bridges has been the best point of attack defender when it comes to small guards. So ironically, it wasn't even Deuce on Champagny that I wanted. It was Deuce on Fox, and then Bridges and Anunoby can be your wings that at times cover Champagny. But we'll see if there's an adjustment made. Their schedule gets a little tough going forward. I know they play Atlanta on Friday, but then they don't play. I think they only play one team in the bottom 5 of the lottery in June. Excuse me, not in June, in January. And it's the Nets, who had the NBA's best defense in December. So the schedule gets a little tough. It's not anything close to last year. And I tweeted this out in the React Accordingly tweet. Like, the Knicks on New Year's Eve last year were 23-10. The Knicks on New Year's Eve this year are 23-10. They have the exact same record. All records are not created equal. They had the easiest schedule in the NBA through 33 and 34 games last year. They also had a week off midway through December because they lost in the NBA Cup first round, and then played one game between the Wednesday of the first game of the NBA Cup and the following Thursday when they went to Minnesota. So they actually had a legitimate break. And as I said, the easiest schedule in the NBA through the rest of 2024 into 2025. This year, and they had some injury luck too. Like, Anunoby didn't miss a game, Brunson didn't miss a game, Cat didn't miss a game. Like, all 5 of their quote unquote starters didn't miss a game. Deuce missed some time. Precious missed some time, but we were living in the land of Thibodeau back then. This year, the 23-10 comes with, Brunson missed a couple games. Anunoby missed 10 games. Josh Hart is out. Mitch is missing games and is only playing 18 to 20 minutes a game. And yet the process is just still so much better. And you're still getting like 11 and 10 guys at times part of the rotation. And you're focusing, you're not maxing out now to get these wins, and you're still getting wins is my point. So yeah, I am appreciative of where they are at this point, and they have played the 12th hardest schedule, I believe. I think that number went down after tonight, but like the point is they haven't played an easy schedule this year to get to 23-10 like they did last year. And like you add in that they played an extra game, went to Vegas for a week, and then there's just been no rest for the weary, to the point where they actually load managed 2 different games and sat Cat in one and sat Brunson in the other. They've had to work for this 23-10. So you can be a little more proud in the record they have now than the record they had at this point last year as well, even though results are results, and I'm sure people will point to that. Thank you, Ron Tequila. Happy New Year. Michael Aaron, hope you're doing well, my friend. Hard-fought game. We win this with either Josh or Mitch available. Rumor has it Champagne is still open for a 3 right now. Yeah, breaking news. Justin Champagne just hit another 3-pointer. He was... I think we all got to the point, too, when he probably got to his 6th or 7th, where it was like, he's probably not going to miss again the rest of the night. And then guess what? He didn't miss again the rest of the night. And they still kept leaving him open. It was one of the more frustrating threes. I agree with you, Michael. They win this game with Josh Hart. They win this game with Mitch. You also wonder if San Antonio's not thinking we win that game by more, if Wemby doesn't get hurt. But look, in a game like this, as I said, you're looking for your margin. What was the 2-point margin that swung the Spurs' way? What's the one play you point to that is representative of, the Knicks losing by 2? Is it, like you said, Mitch not playing? Is it Josh Hart not playing? Is it what we talked about with the defense, just one too many open shots, one too many possessions where they just weren't able to get a stop? Is it something offensively? Did they need to get to 135 tonight with the state of what their defense was? It's really up to you, Knicks fan watching or Knicks person watching. Like, what's the margin you're pointing to? Thank you, Michael. Happy New Year to you and yours. Been a follower forever, so thank you for your patronage and your support, Michael Aaron. Thank you for that, Mr. Fabro. It will be easy to write this one off, but this is the first game we've had against a team with a record equal or better than ours this season, and we choked. It feels bad. So what was the Spurs record for the NBA Cup? I want to make sure what the record was that night, because I'm counting that. Like, I am absolutely counting that. The Spurs, when they played the NBA Cup against the Knicks... Let's see, the Knicks, when they played the NBA Cup, and since the NBA Cup, the Knicks are the ESPN schedule is weird. So the Knicks were 18-7 going into the NBA Cup. The Spurs were, as I now look at their schedule, the Spurs were 18-7. So they had you're technically right, Mr. Fabro. This is the second time, technically, and they beat the Spurs the last time. They've also beaten, like, the Raptors when the Raptors technically had a better record than them. They've also beaten the Magic when they were a bit of a bugaboo for the Knicks for a little bit. I just went through the schedule and how it's not been as easy as it was for them last season through this point. But look, if you're looking for this team to get tested, buckle up for January. I'm not going to do the Mike and the Mad Dog schedule game with you, but I was looking through it today. Like, just the next week or so, because I'm obviously scheduling out some pregame pods. Next week or so, they play Atlanta and then Philly back-to-back Friday, Saturday. Then Sunday night, Monday night, they play the Detroit Pistons. The first time they've played the Pistons this season. The first time they will play the Pistons since that playoff series last year. The Detroit Pistons, who had an impressive win in LA last night and are currently the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Then they play the Clippers, who don't look at their 11-21 record and think that's them. They've won 5 straight, and Kawhi Leonard is not missing shots at the moment. Then they play Phoenix, then they play Portland. You get a reprieve from Sacramento. I guess Sacramento is the other bad team on their schedule, but this is all part of a West Coast trip. Like, they play Detroit in Detroit on Monday, then they play LA on Wednesday. Then from Friday, January 11th to Thursday, January 15th, they're in Phoenix, in Portland, in Sacramento, in Golden State, and then they come back across the country to play Phoenix, Dallas, and Brooklyn at home. Schedule's only gonna get tougher in January, so we'll see what happens. I believe Mr. Macri has returned from the. Is he?
No, I'm here.
Oh, yes, he's here. He's back. Hi, John. How was SNY?
It was good. It's always fun.
What did you say?
Said words about Julian Champagny and Staten Island.
Your boy.
What? Yeah, my boy.
Colin, Pablo. Is Pablo technically Staten Island, or is no? He's like Manhattan. Regis is in Manhattan.
I don't even know where Pablo's from. No, Staten Island. I mean, Colin's from Staten Island. Trying to think of everybody else. Pete Davidson. Did not go to Regis. No. That would have been an interesting one. But yeah, shout out to Little Petey. Hold on, I gotta get a beverage now that I'm done with that.
Little Petey.
He does a commercial where he's like, I need a new nickname. And
I didn't know if you were actually trying to disparage Pete Davidson. I don't watch commercials in 2025. So having said that, shout out to the fine folks that advertise at Knicks Film School. Please listen and watch those commercials. We appreciate those.
In honor of my, well, actually, I don't even know if it was my favorite movie of the year. In honor of the best movie of the year, I'm going to crack open a Modelo.
I was going to say, what from Marty Supreme are you about to drink?
Marty Supreme was not my favorite movie of the year. I loved it.
I figured when I realized you were talking about Modelo's, but
why? Marty Supreme was your favorite movie of the year?
No, I still have one battle at one. I was wondering where you were going with this. That's all.
I liked it better the second time watching last night. I gained even more of an appreciation for it.
That was I was at a 10 on the first watch and then at a 10 on a second watch too. But yeah, I also gained an appreciation even more so for, this is very clearly still number one, which is how I usually test those things. I watch it again. Like Sinners was my number one all year after watching it a second and a third time. And then it took something like one battle to beat. F1 also is my number 3, and I'm on my 5th watch with F1. It remains like one of my favorite sports movies of the century at this point.
We did it. I told you, we watched it in IMAX with the whole family. Mm-hmm. And I want to maybe 10. I don't know. I'll see how late my wife wants to stay up. I could see myself giving it a shot on the old big TV down here tonight. At least try to bang out the first half.
Do it. Okay.
How is the tenor of the conversation been here?
There was one, we need to make a trade for a point of attack defender. I said get in line. There was one, fire Mike Brown because he kept Deuce out too long. And
that was like, a real one?
No, of course not. But it was like they lost because Deuce wasn't in the game sooner. And we explained it. Like, was I also calling for Deuce in the game sooner? Yeah, yes. I also didn't know if he's on a minutes restriction. I imagine if this game mattered 10% more, like if this is the finals, Deuce is playing 30 and 35 minutes. Mitch is also probably playing and not just part of a planned rehabilitation. And who knows if Josh Hart is playing.
I was about to say that, you never know in these games where they go. I mean, they had 23s tonight, so what is the offensive performance look like if Josh Hart plays? Fair question.
I think the main thing I said was you're looking for a 2-point margin. Pick whichever one you want. That's why the Knicks lost. Is it one more Justin Champagny 3? So if he goes 10 of 16, are you able to look at it that way? If you're looking at it as OG hits 1 of his 5 attempts, is it the Fox 3 plays in a row at Cat? You could go to that. Is it Deuce having the foot on the line? And that's a tie game if he hits that. Is it a Jordan Clarkson rebound off a missed free throw that led to 2 Keldon Johnson free throws? Pick your 2-point margin you're probably right why the Knicks lost.
I'm looking at 35 points given up in the last 8 minutes. That's all I'm looking at. It's the only thing.
Fair. They give up 33.
Yeah.
Or they give up 32, I guess they would have had to. Then they win the game.
Yeah.
But on nights like this where it's not like they got run off the court, this was an either-or game, and they lost the or.
Yeah, but I would say at this point probably, I don't know if you disagree, the most frustrating for where like diehard fans are right now, I think the most frustrating way to lose is a game where they don't defend at all down the stretch. As
I think
opposed to a game
that's any team. Yeah, that any team that you can't get stops with, even especially now that you're scoring the way you are. That's the most frustrating way to lose. Shout out to my friends over at the Chase Down, who were very frustrated by the Christmas Day fourth quarter, and it's like we couldn't get a stop, and we had Mobley back. You know, it was a very similar feeling of like we still can't stop Mitchell Robinson, we still can't get stops when you need to down the stretch in big moments. You know.
And you know, I do think like they were trying, and it's we can't say like we've seen a lot of games, especially since the cut, where the Knicks, as I phrase it, ease into these things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they came out and they played pretty hard out of the gate, you know. So
yeah,
to drop that is tough.
I repeat, it's a Justin Champagnie, like find him in transition would be my first note. Because they weren't getting killed at the rim until Brown called that timeout after he hit his 11th three and put Deuce back in. And then they ran that same play over and over again. And look, they had looks down the stretch too, which I keep going back to. Like OG Anunoby missed a wide open three. Mikal Bridges missed a wide open three where he did his hitch from last season. It's why I keep saying,
that was weird.
That's why I keep saying, pick your margin. They lost by 2 points. If either of those shots go in by guys that have been good shooters all season, we're talking about a different result to this game. You'd still have the same problems on defense, but sometimes you lose either or games like this when you don't have the defensive floor to rely on.
I don't know. I don't know if Brunson, Clarkson, and Cat are tenable in a close game in the fourth quarter together.
And notably, when we've seen Brunson, Kolek, Clarkson together in these fourth quarter runs lately, who's been the center?
Mitch?
Mitch.
Yeah.
Because you have a backbone. It's been pick a wing from Wingstop and then those three guards.
Funny you say that, though, because, again, we're talking about like I think it's like 200 minutes or something sample size, so it's not large. But the Kolek Cat defensive numbers are like comical. When Kolek and Cat are on the floor together, they're giving up like 102 or like 98 points or something per 100 possessions. It's like it's not obviously it's not sustainable, but I find it fascinating that you put those two guys together. And the Knicks are just like they're great. I think I made it. Maybe
feels like some more digging is needed as to who else is on the court when they're together.
I looked this up earlier today, and the only thing I'm forgetting is if I also did Brunson off the court. But it was over 400 possessions, whatever it was that I looked up with Kolek and Cat on together. We have a second, right? I don't know how many super chats there are, but if you want,
we have 18. I'll put the next one up in a second.
Yeah, put the next one up.
It's from Hayden. Shout out to Hayden.
What's up, Hayden? How you doing, man? NBA is a ref issue, not a length of schedule issue. Yeah, the refereeing sucks. It always sucks. There's no consistency from game to game. Not that I like chose not to get frustrated about this. It's not something I have in me to get frustrated about because I feel like not that any of this stuff is in our control, but I feel like it's not in our control. So like, why am I going to get mad about it? But yeah, the refs suck. And it's, I'm sure it's frustrating for the team just as it's frustrating for us. But,
Kolek plus Cat in 464 has a 100.9 points per possession on defense, which would be the best defense in the league by far. The Thunder at 107. You take Brunson off, it goes to
it actually goes up. Yeah.
102.7, which isn't. It's only
awesome. Also awesome.
It's still good, and it's only 2 points worse. I'm just for shits and giggles gonna also take OG Anunoby off the court if I may.
Sure.
Jonathan Macri. With OG Anunoby off the court, it goes up to 108, so it's 6 points worse. Now I'm gonna put OG Anunoby back on and put Mikal Bridges off the court, if I may, if that's okay with everybody.
You can do whatever you want.
I would like to do that. Okay, with Mikal Bridges, it also goes up to 107.5. So it's
These
5
are all
points.
good.
These are all good ratings. Yes, I would also remind you, Tyler Kolek is probably playing most of his minutes against backups. So these might be some backup possessions that they're winning, but they're playable. I have no problem with the Cat Kolek pairing. Now let's just take Jordan Clarkson off the floor if we could. Just put everybody else back on, put Jordan Clarkson on the floor.
Your minutes are gonna be lower.
165 possessions, but it's a 97 point. So the defense gets even better. 97. We're back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know.
Something about Kolek
2000s Pistons numbers.
Yeah, something about Kolek and Towns together just works.
Yep.
On both ends of the floor, but definitely on defensive end. Brunson Burner, 33. Tough loss, but for me, I'm still calling it December 2025 is better than January 2024.
Whoa.
Happy New Year, KFS. Happy New Year to you, Brunson Burner. January 2024, a lot of frustrations, I think, started around then. Then there was a nice... You don't agree?
A lot of frustrations started January 2024?
Oh, I was thinking January 2025. Sorry.
2025. Yeah, that's when the season, they had the 16th best offense for 2 months until Brunson got hurt against the Lakers. He's talking about the Brunson Burner is talking about the 14-2 stretch they had after the OG Anunoby trade.
I think it's a ceiling floor conversation for me personally. I think this team has already shown that they have a higher ceiling than that team. I think because of all the stuff we're talking about on the defense, like that team, even with Randall, I'm trying to think who was the next. I mean, Brunson. Yeah, I don't know. That team just it felt like you had such a high defensive ceiling, a high defensive floor.
Yeah, I agree. Hartenstein was the center. You had OG now in the mix. You know, Grimes was getting good possessions in there. Yeah.
Precious Chua, obviously, big time.
Finding his way as a backup center, yes.
Yeah, but they're different. Just different. Close, but different.
We learned more things about the Knicks this year, and they won a trophy in this month. So I guess if that's the tiebreaker, we'll take it. Thank you, Brunson Burner.
Sergio Escoval, what's going on, man? Hey, Macri, forget the result. 4 hours into the new year here in Copenhagen, I can confirm that in 2026, the Knicks rule, and we are winning it all. Happy New Year to the KFS crowd. Let's freaking go. Well, I'm happy you're in good spirits, Sergio. Cheers to you. Copenhagen sounds like a lovely place this time of year. It's awesome.
Where is Copenhagen?
Somewhere in Europe.
Glad I'm not the only one that didn't know. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just genuinely didn't know. I thought you might have. So I'm going to look it up.
I mean, if I had to guess, it's in one of like Norway or Sweden or like Denmark or somewhere.
Denmark. Yeah. I thought it was Denmark, but I didn't.
I knew it was one of those countries. I just didn't want to say the wrong one. Was Oslo the capital of Norway?
Who are you asking, John?
Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark. Is Oslo the capital?
Oslo's the capital of Norway. Yes.
And then Switzerland's
I do know is a country.
Switzerland's what's the capital of Sweden?
Capital IKEA of Sweden. Stockholm. Oh, we should know that.
Stockholm.
Yeah.
Stockholm.
While we're here,
I always
of Switzerland is Bern. Really?
I thought you should have kept me here all night. I wouldn't have came up with that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the name of a city.
I did not know either. Shout out to any Switzerland Knicks fans out there.
Swiss, yeah.
Swiss Knicks, indeed.
Swiss Knicks. Robert Cross. Happy New Year, Robert. First time, long time. It's your boy John. We can't have Deuce on the bench that long in the second half. Agitated, not acceptable. Of course, Robert. Yeah, I mean we've talked about it. I'm curious if Mike Brown is asked about it. I don't think it's a surefire thing that he would get asked about, but I'm curious. We know he's on a minutes limit.
We know he's on a minutes limit. as Mike Brown has also said in the past, maybe he'd agree, like, yeah, I probably should have put Deuce in sooner. Like, he might admit the wrong. And maybe he also thought so and thought he could get a couple extra minutes with Clarkson, who was having the most Jordan Clarkson of Jordan Clarkson games, and realized a minute or two or a possession or two too late. That he didn't put Deuce out there.
I did, like, it felt important to have Clarkson out there for offense, even though Deuce, like, objectively had a much, not a better offensive night, a much better offensive night.
I think you would have been just fine with Deuce out there for offense and defense down the stretch, especially after Champagne's 8th 3. I thought Deuce should have been in the game. He then hit 3 more. So that's where I would side with Robert and anybody stressing Deuce should be in. Now, look, again, pick your 2-point margin. If it's on Mike Brown, fine. I think you're getting more positive returns than negative returns with Mike Brown these days. So if he makes one mistake in a game, like, you live with it.
Sorry, I shout out Benji. I just retweeted his his grades.
Shouting out Benji. What's up?
He picked the perfect word. Inattentive. That's what the Knicks were tonight. They were too inattentive. But I love his grades because, like McBride got the A-. He gave 2 people in the C range, but Anunoby and Towns both a C+. I think both are fair. And then everybody else was B's. That's why, like nobody played terribly, you know? Like, we could complain here and there about what Mike Brown did. He didn't coach like an egregiously bad game. It's an annoying.
I don't think anybody is saying he coached an egregiously bad game.
Yeah,
they're just saying that was a one mistake that happened. That's one of the margins that they lost. That little stretch where he should have put Deuce back in. It happens. Coaches do that sometimes.
Coaches are infallible. You don't know that?
I will appeal to their authority as much as you would like me to, John. I will also point out when they make mistakes, though.
I will have you know, it pains me just the same.
What? Pointing
the
out
notion that this coach made a mistake as that the last coach made a mistake.
The notion that Mike Brown
coach made a mistake.
Now, I repeat, Mike Brown might tell you, yeah, I made a mistake. Like, in his quiet time at night in front of his staff.
You know what I would say? I would disagree.
Like, no, you didn't. Shut up. Coaches don't make mistakes. Do you know people wanted to fire Spo when they were being coached poorly 2 years ago?
They did.
You know, people want to fire Doc Rivers, even though he's the most overrated coach in the history of the
Doc
sport.
Rivers, I don't know if he's making it to, what are we, an hour and 10 minutes away?
There's a warm spot on a Ringer Spotify podcast waiting for you, Doc. Don't worry. You will find work easily.
He's good on pods, too. So.
Great podcaster. Yes. Yeah. Zach Lowe will love having you on once a week.
That's Doc. What Zach needs is Doc.
Another coach. Yeah. Go to the rotation of him and Stan Van Gundy.
All right. Let's move it along here. I should probably see my family before New Year's.
Same.
CC Kirby feels like OG has been in a low-key quiet shooting slump for the past few weeks. Absolutely. I was looking up his numbers yesterday. I was shocked at how not they're terrible. They're not. It's not shooting terribly this year, but they've gone down. I think he's at 36% from 3 after tonight. It's probably going to be even lower than that. So yes, I'm sure he'll be okay. But man, some of these misses have been rough. Again, Benji pointed out, it's his biannual shooting slump. It happens a couple times a year. It's nothing to be concerned about. He'll be fine. The thing with OG, and I wrote this in today's newsletter as I was doing like New Year's resolutions for guys, he really should not ever take another mid-range shot. Like, he has never, he's been in the league 8 years. He's never shot above 40% from mid-range. And in particular, his short mid-range shots are like, he's never shot above 40% from the short mid-range. That's hard to do. So this is just, and he's shooting particularly bad from mid-range this year. So it's just like, you're a great 3-point shooter and like you get these opportunities at the rim, but just don't do anything else. Thanks, CC.
He is 8 for his last 30, it looks like. 8 for his last 30, 8 for his last 40. I got to recount this, but since the NBA Cup, he's hit 8 threes in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that they've played.
Yeah. So, he'll be fine. And you know what the nice thing is? He's going to bust out in like a massive way during some game. Ron Tequila, what's going on, Ron? Chuck's not wrong. Obesity in San Antonio is crazy. I don't know where this is coming from. Gonna go to school to become a cardiologist and open a practice there and count the billions. You know what it is? There's a lot of meat and a lot of cheese. Having been to San Antonio multiple times in my life, it's just all meat and cheese. You want to come back from San Antonio and eat nothing but salads for a week.
No comment. Thank you, Ron Tequila. Next up.
Guy Huber, then. What's going on, man? Thank you for the very generous super chats. Much appreciated. Clarifying my Macau take. I think I gave you shit for something you said the other night. I love this team and believe for the first time since 99, we have something. This team is better than 99, but yes, I agree with you. I want our guys to shine. He's often quiet with a Josh Hart stat line, and I want more. Love Macau, the coach, and KFS. Happy New Year. Well, we love you too, Guy Huber, then. Thank you. I think that is just part of the territory with Macau, and it's always going to be. You know, I think he is. What's a good analogy?
He's a number 2 wide receiver. There will be certain games that he has like 6 catches for 115 yards, but because he's not the number 1 wide receiver, he doesn't get prioritized.
But he's
also some days they run the ball, you know.
He's a possession wide receiver. You know?
Yeah. He's your second down, let's get this to third and short receiver. He's not someone that's a deep ball threat. He's not someone that you know, you need he's not someone that you're throwing a jump ball to, I guess. You're not gonna get him to be he's not Randy Moss in this. He's a number 2 wide receiver.
I guess the thing, he took 5 shots tonight? Is that what I think I said earlier? You know what, Guy Huber, where I was going with that. Or 9 shots. He made 5, took 9. You know, like 9 shots from Mikal Bridges. That's in this offense with the talent that they have.
I have very little complaints about the offense. Like they scored 132 points.
He's so. I rewatched all of his 10 assists against they just beat Pelicans. He's become so good at just keeping the machine moving. You know, none of his assists, none of those 10 assists were like super flashy, but all of them in a way were like impressive in their own right, whether it was a super quick decision or whether it was passing on the move, whether it was a hit ahead to take advantage of a transition opportunity. And he's just like, he's the grease for this offense, I think, in a lot of ways. And for defense too, honestly, you know, yeah, I mean, sure, it'd be nice if you got a little bit more, but what are you gonna do? You know the craziest number of tonight? Easily the craziest number. What do you think OG? You may know this. What do you think OG's plus minus was?
I know what it was. It was like minus 25.
Minus 25. Yeah, that if that's not.
Can I give you a crazier number?
What?
What was Yabusele's in 9 minutes?
Probably plus, right? Plus 15.
Plus 15.
That has to be that might not be the worst plus minus of OG's in the career, because I'm sure there's been a game or two or something where he's played a lot in like a blowout. But like, I would bet a few bucks that is easily his worst plus minus in relation to what the final score was. And put up the next super chat. I'm gonna get the answer to this by the time we're done tonight. OG team, perfect transition. 1, Cat remains a concern. 2, OG ain't have it shooting. Yep, we talked about that. 3, leaving in Clarkson too long. Talked about that. Tired of these fake shooting games. Okongwu, Bay, and now Champagny. A lot of shooting talent in the league, but yeah.
But to what Okongwu was 2 games ago, to what Bay was last game, to what Champagny was this game, I understand the frustration that this is 3 straight times it's happened.
I mean, it feels like there was always somebody like this that would blow up against the Knicks.
Mamu Kavashvili, the guy that's now on the Raptors, he did it against the Knicks while on the Spurs last year. You know,
shit, man. OG has only had 3 other negative plus minus games. He was a -3 in the Christmas win that they won by 2. He was a -6 in a 10-point loss to Milwaukee. And he was a -11 in a 9-point loss to Philly. So, like, And I'm going to go back to the previous. As far as Cat remaining a concern,
get in line.
It's funny. Maybe like Cat was not great tonight. He scored 20 points on 10 shots, right?
Got to the line a lot.
Like he's playing within himself.
Didn't think he was destructive in how the air ball was loud, but it was
the air ball was annoying.
I'm glad they gave him a post touch,
And like even defensively, like okay, when he spaced out on the Cornet putback that effectively decided the game, that was really annoying.
Especially where he just had 2 possessions where he fought for rebounds on the defensive glass, the offensive and defensive glass. So it was like this last one is the one you needed because it would have given you the ball down 1, and instead it's the one that gets you fouled out of the game.
But you said it. It's not destructive. Again, give or take a couple plays. It's like he's not being destructive. Okay.
We were asked in a group chat, were Randall games, bad games, more frustrating than Cat bad games? And it's like, no, Randall bad games were nuclear, like it took the entire team out. Cat bad games still have good moments.
So I have the answer. In a 124-123 loss to the Bulls that I think was the Kobe White hair getting fouled at the end of the game.
Yes.
Which I was at, actually. Yeah, Cat 46 points. OG Anunoby was a minus 20 in a game they lost by 1. So that was a 19-point negative differential between the final score and what he was a negative. Tonight, he was a minus 25 in a game they lost by 2. So by plus-minus standards, this was the worst game of OG Anunoby's Knicks career.
All right. There you go. Next up. Music
in my pocket. Thanks for the generous contribution. My earliest vivid Knick memory is the Ewing finger roll. I could be 95 and I'll remember that exact feeling that I felt and where I was watching it. 30 seasons later, and I think this is the best offensive team I've ever seen. The loss is annoying. Defense needs work, but this team is a real contender.
This is Chris Carter, by the way. Shout out to Chris.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, man? Yeah, the NBA stats haven't updated. They're gonna. Well, actually, there's a little bit of a gap right now between. Oh wait, no, it has updated. So the Knicks actually did move up to second in offense. They moved ahead of the Houston Rockets, and the team that's number 1 in offense right now, the Denver Nuggets. Pretty sure they're gonna take a little bit of a dip here. Defensively, the Knicks are still 16th, but now whereas there was a gap between them and 17, the Hawks, believe it or not. There's now a gap between them and 15. So the Knicks are like definitively at the moment not a top half of the league defense. They're trailing the Boston Celtics by like almost a full point per 100 possessions. I agree with you, Chris. They're a real contender, but there's a level of consistency defensively they're just not reaching right now, and I think they need to get there.
Playoffs are a different animal.
I keep saying that.
You just need to be consistent against 3 teams. And then in the Knicks case, 4 teams. You don't need to be consistent over an 82-game schedule.
I think the fact that the Pistons are just not an offense I'm ever going to worry about bodes well.
Or the Magic, or the Raptors, or... The Hawks are an interesting conversation because I don't know what they're going to look like.
I fear.
Can I just give you the scenario? I agree with you. However that sentence was going to end, I'm not afraid of Trae Young. If they don't have Trae Young, I'm actually mildly more concerned about them. I'm not. Because there's nowhere to attack on defense anymore.
If I'm being completely honest, the team that I'm most concerned about in the East right now is a team that doesn't have its best player at the moment.
Yes, cosign. Hoping someone else takes him out, but I would welcome the challenge if that's another Knicks Celtics challenge.
Beloved of faith, JC offense isn't worth what we get on defense. Tonight it probably wasn't, man, he made some big baskets. Like, he has ice water in his veins.
He did his job. I think he could have done it in 20 minutes instead of 24 minutes. It's like a very small thing. And a 2-point loss, it looms large, but yeah, he made some big baskets. He also took some very big shot attempts as well.
It's just, and
had 6 fouls, some of which were very destructive.
It's a version of the Josh Hart conversation that we had for years, which is like, this guy's a really useful, helpful player, probably in 20 to 25 minutes a night. Jordan Clarkson, it feels like once you push past, as Andrew just said, that 20-minute mark, it's like,
yep,
probably against a real team, probably a bit much.
Even more when you don't have Mitch out there, because he's nowhere near a point of attack defender, and you need a wing on there, and you need a disruptor that is a back line of defense out there.
Darius, what's going on, man? Can't win them all, Mac. The Spurs just got blown out by the Cavs. Not blown out. I think they lost by like 9, but they lost.
This is by someone named Black Adam, by the way. This is YouTube got rid of real names and started putting usernames up there. It's very annoying. So I've got the master list up to give you some real names. Another one from Black Adam.
I think Brown will admit that he should have went back to McCullough earlier than he did.
McCullough. I was just gonna say back to Deuce. I
said it during the monologue.
McCullough
was the guy that I was like, man, kind of only 8 minutes. Who
knows? Maybe that becomes 10 next game. Maybe it becomes 15 next game.
That kid, man, he's got something to him.
That when he forced that jump ball in the last minute, it was like, is they about to come back in this game because he forced that jump ball? And unfortunately, he didn't. And a couple from Justin Richards.
What's going on, Justin? How you doing, man? Happy New Year, John. Agreed. It felt like Brown made some odd lineup decisions in the fourth. This team is now at the trying to figure out what this is supposed to mean.
Level.
Oh, level. That makes a lot of sense. This team is now at the level where they are judged against the best. Let's get the defense better in 2026. Yeah. Yes, totally. We should be judging them against these sorts of teams. And, again, if Wemby went nuclear down the stretch and was impacting everything they were trying to do on offense and doing what he was doing on offense, and they lost a tight game, I wouldn't have minded. But another one from Justin. Also, I've never believed the lineup was the best thing in the world. It's a lineup that needs to be used in specific matchups. Hart and Mitch can each close games. Well, look, the data for the lineup is very good. I think, God, how do I put this delicately? I think there are certain people out there who have had an interest in propping up the lineup and have made it out to be this holy grail thing, when I completely agree with you. It is a lineup that I think you could argue, all things being equal, in terms of there are a million different situations in an NBA game that might present themselves. I think you could argue that the Deuce plus the starters lineup is the one that has the best odds of success against the most of those million different situations. The notion that it is the be all end all of basketball, which is again how I think it is put out there by some. I just can't go that far on a team, as you say, with Josh Hart, who is a pretty good basketball player, and Mitchell Robinson, who is quite literally the best in the NBA at one thing and a pretty damn good guy at another thing, which is also important.
The people you're referring to, that I obviously know who you're talking about, I'm not talking about them. My contest all last season was, why are we never seeing it? It played 83 possessions last year. Yeah. After tonight, where we saw it for a majority, it might already get up to 75, because it's at 62 going into tonight, and I'm looking at it now. It was
62 minutes.
It played 9 minutes and 16 seconds tonight, and was minus 12. Shout out to OG Anunoby being a minus 25. But going into tonight, it was at 62 possessions. So if you're just adding those other possessions, it's probably closer to 71, 72 possessions. it's already at the point we saw last year, and coming into tonight, it had a plus minus a point differential of plus 22.7.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
am not a believer in it's the greatest lineup of all time. I do think there are versions where it's their best lineup, and it's a lineup we should have saw at certain points last year, especially when Jalen Brunson went down. Especially not when Jalen Brunson went down, especially when it was very clear that the Josh Hart lineup was stalling a bit, and they were not beating teams when that lineup was on the floor.
Just very simply put, you're never going to convince me that a lineup that contains Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, that the absolute apex version of the best 5-man unit containing those two guys, no, I shouldn't say that. Like the best possible thing out there could contain another guy who is 6'2". Like you're just never. I'm never going to be able to get over that hump. Might it be their best option given their personnel? Yes, absolutely.
That's the distinction I would make. Their best lineup.
Theirs, yeah.
Their best lineup can be that.
Yes.
Could they? A lot of people have hit me up today. Shout out to Big Baby David over at John Boy Talking Yanks. Said, I've been thinking about Yabu and Deuce for Grimes all day. Thanks for that. And it's like the Sixers being good probably makes it a non-starter. But yeah, like what I'd love for them to get the 6'5" wing that's a better point of attack defender. Yes. As currently constructed, I think it makes things fall into place better than other lineups. But to Justin's point, it's also matchup dependent. I would love for against the Cavs them to go to a Mitch lineup more often, you know. And then there are lineups that Josh Hart's going to matter more too. We got five. I got 8 more. If you want to rush through them,
let's do it. Rob Delusma, this game did nothing to change my belief in this team. I don't think this. Yeah, no. I hope I didn't even imply that early in the show, but yes, completely agree with that. Happy New Year, Knicks fam, and I know what we're all wishing for in the new year. Yeah, there's only one thing that we're wishing for. Shout out to you. Thank you, Rob. Robert Cross with another one. First time, long time. It's your boy John. I'm still aggravated. There's a shocker. Deuce McBride should be the 5th starter. I'm in agreement, Robert. I've said it. I said it before the season. Andrew said it before the season. I've said it during the season. I would like to see that starting lineup at least get a chance to start games and see how they do.
Gonna also update everybody on the bet we did earlier.
Which is what? Oh, Sean with a W. Miami Hurricanes money line. Did they?
They won. They won by 10, baby. Did you bet money line or? Well, it doesn't matter if you bet the spread or money line. You would have got it, but the KFS squad solidarity bet hit tonight.
I bet the money line.
There you go.
So I did.
Mazel tov to you, John. What was the odds?
What odds did I get?
What'd you get it at?
Plus 212. I did a 25% profit boost.
There you go.
Thanks to our friends at FANATICS Sportsbook. Yeah, I had myself a good night tonight. I bet that, and then which I didn't know college football was even being played still. But you guys texted me, bet $10 on this. Okay. And then
the most innocent, hilarious question. It's like you said something along the lines of college football, right? Like I'm not betting the Dolphins.
Well, when I first saw you guys talking about Miami, I thought you were all talking about betting the Heat. And I'm like, why are they betting the Heat? Mm-hmm. And then I took Brunson over 28.5, which I actually thought he had gotten before that last bucket and did not even realize in the moment that I needed that last bucket to cover. And so I'm pretty happy about that too.
Yep.
Thanks, Sean. Haitian Ferg, what's going on, Haitian? Great to hear from you. Happy New Year. Thank you for the contribution. Mitch isn't guaranteed, and this game backfired on us. MB went small. Mike Brown. And the Spurs out-bigged us. We may need to move some guards to bring in another big as insurance. We don't lose the rebound game with Hart and Mitch. Haitian, more and more, I am coming around to the notion that if they make a trade before the deadline, it should be for a big. For exactly the reason that you said. The notion that this team is going to place its best title chance in at least 30 years on a center who I'm not even joking about the stupid fucking plan anymore. I'm not even going to make any more jokes about it. But for whatever reason, did not play in 2 consecutive basketball games that were not back to backs. They were like, he had a day off, then there was a game. Then he had a day off, then there was a game, and now he has off tomorrow. That's 5 days, 2 basketball games, 0 Mitchell Robinson minutes. If that is your...
Tell us how you feel, Tibbs. Tell us how you feel.
No, but if that's the situation, you can't then tell me, oh, it's fine when this is all in furtherance of making sure he's ready for the playoffs. Fuck that. I hope he's ready. And I like...
You know what barely happens in the playoffs?
Guys get hurt. What?
No. You play back-to-back days.
Yeah, I understand that.
Or for that matter, do you have a day off? I know the second round and the third round are spaced like that, but
again, if this is whatever the situation is, I don't even care what it is, where they were like, we need to keep him out of both of these games. If that is the sort of player you're dealing with, where that, for whatever reason, that's the decision you make, I'm not putting all of my eggs in that basket if I can help it. If I can't help it, I can't help it. But if they can make a move and bring in something, and obviously I've flip-flop on this 5 different times over the course of the year. I think right now I'm at give me another big.
Because he didn't play the last 2 games, and it's fresh. But let him have a 6-minute stretch where nobody on the other team gets a rebound.
You're actually proving my point. This is why it's so tough, because there's a chance that Mitchell Robinson is healthy for every playoff game, in which case whoever I go and expend assets on, and that's the only move that I make, that guy might not even get any minutes if Mitchell Robinson is healthy. And I still want that. To me, that insurance policy might be worth more than anything else I'm going to get at the deadline, wing or guard related.
So what's the insurance you could get that doesn't cost too much assets, that gives you any hint of Mitchell Robinson on the court impact?
What? Say that again?
Like, why are we getting a third center that may or may not play, but costing like legitimate assets, like and could give you even hints of Mitch production? You know,
it's a hedge. That's all it is. It's insurance. It's all insurance. It is basically what you're asking is the fun. I think the question that Leon Rose has to ask before the deadline, which is, what is more valuable, a big man insurance policy or a wing or a ball handler that might deserve rotation minutes on our team right now, even if everybody else is healthy? And this is a developing situation because we're literally seeing the emergence of a guy that a week ago nobody thought about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not a hard conversation. I think it's an incredibly hard conversation that they have to have with themselves. And obviously, it goes without saying, it depends on who else is out there. Like, if they could get fucking Tari Eason, that's a different conversation, because that guy becomes a part of your core for the next half decade. But I'm assuming that guy's not available.
I guess where my perspective is, when you were making Mitch will make defensive player of the year conversations and all defense teams, I was saying I need him healthy for 7 games against Cleveland in May. I was always expecting this would be the plan. And
that's
I know
fine.
It's frustrating when he has these moments. I've seen enough with this Knicks team. They're healthy. I trust that their ceiling can beat anybody. Now, they haven't played OKC, and they won't until March, and they're probably not going to play Denver with a healthy complement of team of players either. I've seen enough that I think this team can beat anybody healthy. Now get me to April healthy.
Fine.
Is now the goal.
Here, last thing on this, because I do it, finish up. But like, I have already seen enough where I think I'm comfortable going into a playoff series with everything that they have on the roster right now, other than putting aside the center spot, positions 1 through 4. I'm comfortable going into a playoff series with what they have on the roster right now, 1 through 4. Even with the slight unknowns of all of these kids. There's no universe where I want to see Ariel Hukporti play a playoff minute. And I apologize to Ariel Hukporti and his family and friends. He might be a nice NBA player someday. That dude's not ready to play rotation minutes in a real game right now. He just doesn't make an impact, you know?
That's fair.
So
if that's the type of thing, like this is like ironically where I'm going with this. If like a Precious Achua type to just be a third center that could play 12 minutes, and maybe Mike Brown experiments with some OG at the 5. Even though that's probably not your best lineup if you're playing one of the bigger teams. Like if you're playing Boston, though, you actually might want to go to OG at the 5 more often.
I would call up our friends across the river, and I would at least inquire as to the availability of Daron Sharp.
Well, on that note, Kevin Danishevsky.
There you go. I'd consider Yabu and Pacome for Sharp, and
Yabu
for Sharp, and then Sharp, Mitch for Devo. Okay,
Mitch for Devo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randall Reed lineups aren't getting destroyed on the boards. Devo gives us a bona fide 2 plus Sharp's rebounding.
I love when they lose how it suddenly gives Kevin the avenue to get the trade machine up and working, because now we need to fix everything, right? So I will go on record. I've done some digging. I don't think Devo is as available as it seems, but I also understand the desire to have Dante DiVincenzo back in our lives. I also think if Minnesota's breaking up that starting 5, they're getting a point guard, and this does not give them a point guard.
So the Minnesota Timberwolves are getting killed defense. They can't stop anyone when Rudy Gobert's off the floor. Mitch helps that, obviously, a lot. I still don't think Minnesota says yes to this.
If they're trading Devo, it's for a point guard.
Yeah, I don't think they're trading Devo for Mitch. And honestly, if I'm the Knicks, and you're talking like, is there a bigger Dante DiVincenzo fan out there than me? I love him so much. Mitchell Robinson can win you a playoff series. I love Dante DiVincenzo. He's not winning you a playoff series. Mitchell Robinson can. He won them a playoff series against the fucking defending champions last year. and 2 years
to be clear, I was gonna say it might be his second playoff series that he won them. Another one from Kevin.
Another one, yes, Mr. Janishevsky. Love Brown, but want to excise Yabu and would have liked to see Deuce earlier. JB deferred to Cat a bit in the fourth quarter, which good macro but bad micro. The refs sucked. I thought he was deferring to Cat out of like he was just trying to make the right play, which credit to him. Didn't work, but whatever. If anything, I thought the Knicks were overpassing at times in furtherance of trying to get the best shot. That said, they did get a couple of really nice looks at the rim when they did that.
They got some wide open looks from 3 as well.
And wide open looks from 3.
I also just shout out Mitch Johnson's the name of the Spurs coach.
Yeah.
He is coaching them up. Their closeouts are insanely good. The Knicks are not able. They're doing all their passing to get to the open man.
Yep.
And all the pump fakes you saw are because the Spurs are just well trained how to close out without fouling, without overcommitting, while taking away passing lanes. There were stretches, and it helps when you have Wemby because it's like, why am I driving? Because there's an actual tree in the middle of the paint. But
I just
that's a very good and well coached defense.
It's not a tree; it's Groot.
Who is a tree?
Yes,
but it's one with extended arms. Yes, I agree.
I can move. None of the Knicks 5 starters had what any of us would call great games. They scored 132 points. Like, this offense is fucking insane. It's truly and against that defense, insane offense.
Yeah.
5 Parrish Duggar is the last one.
5 more.
5 more. Great game. We're a great team. We missed 3 easy open threes in the last 3 minutes. Yes, along with rebounds we couldn't secure. We also turned down too many 2-point shots. Wemby influenced those, but yeah.
Happy New Year, Parrish.
Happy New Year, Parrish. Hayden Freed, what's going on, Hayden? Clear goaltends should be reviewed. Absurd in 2026. I didn't think the Brunson one was a goaltend, but maybe
I don't
there's
know the
another
other one. I don't know the other one. On the replay, I thought the ball going up was still going up, and it's just that Wemby is above the rim. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to fully know when Wemby is goaltending, when Wemby's not goaltending. He's very tall.
I don't think we're meant to know that. Thanks, Hayden. Mark, hey, my buddy who I saw earlier today. The Knicks I ran into him at the skating rink.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, just happy accident. The Knicks reminded me of my ice skating efforts today. Things were going so well until the floor slipped right out from underneath me. Good call, Mark. I wasn't going to bring it up, but great birthday into you and the fam. Happy New Year's, fellas. Cheers to the Knicks in 2026. It was, yes, it was a very nice surprise. It was funny. I was skating around and I'm like, oh, look, someone's wearing a Knicks Film School shirt. And then I looked up and it's Mark.
Shout out, Mark. He okay?
Yeah. He just fell. That's fine.
Oh, at least if he got hurt, the ice was like right there.
I fell twice, which is twice more than I usually fall.
Couldn't tell you the last time I went ice skating.
I like ice skating. It's fun.
Yeah.
Haitian with another one. Thanks, Haitian. The Mitch policy also has a rider that's covering Cat's minutes against Cornette. On nights where Mitch is out and Cat doesn't step up, we really need help. Yeah, like, Sharp is, again, Sharp does one thing really well, the offensive rebounds. And I think he's a serviceable defender.
What's he making?
$6 million, so you could do Yabu and
it's Yabu. Okay. Yeah,
Yabu, it has to be Yabu and Dadier because you can't take back.
You got to send out more. Yeah, I do that. It's a third center. This season's about data collection, right? I think we've collected enough data that Hukporty can't be your Mitch insurance. To your point.
And to be clear, it's not that Hukporty is like awful. I just don't think he makes an impact enough. I think I don't like him on the boards.
And you don't have to trade him. Like, you could keep him as your de facto fourth center if you want to do that.
Yabu, I have zero issue trading away just because that dude cannot stay in front of a perimeter player.
And he was brought here to be a de facto third center. So this is, to your point, they're looking for a third. Okay, I'm on board. Go ahead. Go get a third center. I'm still very bullish on, like, I don't care that Mitch is sitting at points. Maybe this is their data collection. Like, let's find out what you can do if Mitch is not playing. And they clearly miss having an alternative option to Cat.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Asian.
2 more came in. So one
and
more.
Did we also
Scott.
Get to the one from the previous?
Yeah, I did
show?
that before while you were on SNY. Yeah.
Okay, Scott. Thanks for the commitment on New Year's Eve. Of course. Where else would we rather be? Pre-game would have been an acceptable loss, but damn, they fought. No big picture conclusions to draw this early. Only feeling joy at the progress development. 2026 is it. I'm happy it's been mostly positive tonight. I got to tell you. That's good. I like that. Like, we know what we know what they have to address. We know what their weakness is, but I think everybody agrees that, like, when they're fully healthy, that'll help. And then when they're playing at playoff effort, that'll help. Kevin with one more. Kobe White's salary works for a 3-team deal. I can't give up Mitch.
It's a no for me, dog. Thank you, Kevin. Happy New Year.
I just can't do it.
Last one.
Ben Kim Gerby. Happy New Year, Ben. Happy New Year, all. A toast to a great new championship year. Cheers. Got one more sip left of my Modelo.
Cheers, Knicks fans. Thank you for an outstanding 2020. What was it, the year we just had? 2025?
2025.
Yeah. And cheers to you, Mr. Macri. I'm glad we got to do a post game together so people know we don't hate each other like the YouTube comments suggested today.
I mean, if only they really knew.
I'll see you Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're doing like a little Macri Claudio Christmas this weekend.
Yes, belatedly, but better late than never. Great to do this with you. Great to see you for the pod yesterday. Great to do this with you now. It's been a good year. Good year for Knicks Film School. Good year for the Knicks.
Good year for the Knicks.
Good year for the Knicks. A good year, I think, for Knicks fans. I think everybody. I think people are in a good place, justifiably so. Now go get back on your winning ways, hopefully with a win. Who do they play? Do they play Atlanta again?
They play Atlanta Friday, Philly Saturday, Detroit on Monday.
Yes. That
Pregame pods already booked, by the way, so be ready for pregame pods the morning of each day.
And I'll be doing with someone or by myself, but I will definitely be doing a watch along for the Detroit game, 100%, because that's a big one. So tune into the Knicks Film School YouTube for that, and then for all your other Knicks needs. Thanks everybody for watching another episode of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. You know where to find us. You know how to help out the pod. Ratings, reviews, subscribe, follow, all the great things.
Kevin with another one.
John
knows how to ruin a perfect sign-off, Kevin.
John needs to work on his Substack ethics. What's Substack ethics?
I don't know, but if you want to know the context of that, Knicks fans, subscribe to the Knicks Film School newsletter on Substack, and you can find out what Kevin may or may not be referring to. You could subscribe to Knicks Film School's newsletter or the Patreon bonus content. You could give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple and Spotify at Nick Film SKOOL on all socials. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel and remember to like this video. Continue with your sign off, Jonathan.
I got nothing else. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. And best is yet to come. All right. Cheers.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatics Sportsbook app.